has to sort of feel right. In a sense. Good right about now, and I'm slowly
Close,
taking the
so she
pressure
can
off, but I can't
Yeah,
go,
that's-
I can't just go like that because it'll be going. So you bring it closer to really see it. Slow it down a bit. Right. So it is centered. So again, I'm going to start at the top. And I'm going to push into the middle with my thumb. And I'm going down fairly slowly because I want the clay to be even all the way around. And I'll change over, push almost to the bottom. I've got to leave about 1/4 of an inch of clay in the bottom because when you are cutting off, you're going to lose a little bit of it, and then you're going to want to flip it over and turn it over, and you're going to kind of trim it a little bit, and you're going to take away a little bit more of it. So you need to have enough clay so that it's not going to put a hole in the bottom of it. That would be a waste of your time and your money and your brains, and you'd shoot yourself or something. I thought about it. Okay, now I'm going to start to pull up the walls of it, and I'm pushing both with my thumb on the inside and my fingers on the outside, and I'm trying to pull them up this way to get some thinness, and then as I pull it up, I'm going to start to pull it out that way. So now I'm going to turn it down a little bit.
So do you just eventually get the feel for the right amount of pressure?
Pretty much. I can feel like this is thick, this is very thin, and that's about ready to, become a hole through the wall, and I don't want to have that. And it's only taken me 54 years to figure the whole out.
Is this therapeutic for you?
Is it what for me?
Therapeutic?
Yes. Well, I'm not really feeling mentally disranged or something like that having done this. I think my parents felt that way when I told my father on the eve of my graduation, I said, Dad, I'm going to be a potter the rest of my life, and you can see the boy was dreaming.
He's like, how are you gonna make it, son?
Yeah, well, good luck. I don't even think he said that. No, I spent a couple of years until I felt that I was really, well, just try it. And they had bought me a kick wheel. They knew that I was really serious about this, and they bought a kick wheel for me for Christmas for $150. And I used that for 5 years until I practically had to have a new knee. I really didn't, but there was a lot of pain. That constant kicking like that was just not good. So then I bought my electric wheel, and that was about 54 years ago, and it still is just as good as the day I bought it. It still is the same thing. It's got a big 200-pound thing to keep it going. This is being, it's a motor. If I look at it, the wrong way, and I stop it that way. And once you set it, it stays that speed all the time. It could stay like this for 100 years, and it would not change. But you tend to move the speed of what's going around depending upon what it is. If you start getting to the edge of it, you really want to slow it down because otherwise it's going to go. It would cut you. Really. Yeah. So, again, it's kind of you have to be very careful with this. You accidentally maybe go too fast or something like that. So I'm going to slow this down a little bit more like that. I'm going to pull this up again.
you're throwing, what is a good final thickness for a clay like this?
I would say probably about a quarter of an inch, or maybe a little bit less than that. It depends upon how big the thing that you're doing. You don't wanna have something so thin that if it gets brittle, if you hit the door the wrong way and it could crack and so on. So you have to have a lot of structure.
It's not like Corel, right?
I'm not sure what Corel is, but it's,
No, Corel is the type of porcelain.
well, this is porcelain, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you
It's
just
actually glass.
let that fall on the ground, it's gonna break it, probably most likely.
Well, once it's fired, it's much stronger because, it does melt together and it's very strong. So you can make porcelain that is thinner, but if you're using regular clay, it still is very strong, but, it's more likely to fracture if you drop it accidentally or something like that. And you break if you have break the porcelain ones too. Depends upon how stupid that you are like me. Then I go, no, it's all right.
Yeah.
It almost looked like a,
It's the gods
There's
that Peter is
hydroplane.
putting his pottery out there right now. Let's stop it. Anyway, so now, I pulled this up, but I do want to pull out the rim. I would put more of a curve out there, so I'm gonna give this a little bit of moisture in here. And you need just enough so that you don't have spots where it's a little bit drier. So if you do that occasionally, it'd be sort of like a and that's just not good. You want it to be nice and smooth all the way.
So how does the clay and water affect your fingers over time?
Well, I always wash it thoroughly with soap after I'm done, because otherwise, when it's drying out, it sucks the moisture in your hands, and you can get all kinds of pains, especially in the winter or something like that, because you're trying to keep it moist even more at that time. That's why I like to go down to Florida to sell my pots instead, where I don't get so wrinkled up as well. Or at least I used to be like that. I think for 33 years I went down to Florida every winter, and I did very well. A couple of those shows that I did, I was selling for up to $5,000 per fair. Those were the good days. There's another one in Maine, is by far the best show ever. It's called the Common Ground Fair, and it's in the middle of September, and it's put on by it's a business that really promotes organic materials. 63,000 people come to it.
wow,
for
that
those
is a
3 days.
fantastic.
It's unbelievable. And
Young
sometimes I am practically empty. A couple of times I've had $7,000 for that show. Those were the good old days.
What part of Florida, do you still go to Florida to sell things?
I'm sorry, that.
Do you still go to Florida to sell things?
No, I haven't in about 5 years.
Okay.
And part of it is that, I started doing that because my wife, she wasn't my wife at the time, but she was in Boston in school there for a couple of years. And so I decided to go there because another pottery friend of mine said, oh, you should go down. And I go, okay, I'll do it. And I did, and I said, yeah, I'm going again, and again, and again. And she never came with me because she had to work as an architect, and she would come down for a week or something like that, but, I was still doing really, really well. So I just stopped about 5 years ago. And it's getting more expensive to do
Yeah.
shows.
Well, they make you rent the space and everything.
Well, I had to. I had a pop-up camper, so I would go to different. I tried to get into the state things where it was much cheaper than the commercial ones, where it was only 15 versus $100 a day for a tent.
Yeah.
I mean, I've cut way down on the number of shows that I do anyway, so this year I think I'm doing about maybe 10, maybe 12 of them at most, and most of those will be in Maine. I do the 2 cave events, I try and do the conventions, and I've done as far away as California, Washington, Texas, South Dakota,
Yay, South Dakota.
yeah, did that 1 year, yeah. I think, yeah, that's right, that was a couple of 4 years ago maybe.
Where'd you go? Custer or something?
Well, it's
Up in
way
Rapid
over
City.
on the western
Oh,
edge of
okay,
it.
Sioux Falls.
Yeah, I think there was, and I think I did the other one too, but that was maybe 40 years ago or something. I don't know. I've done them in a number of places, and we had it in Camden. You know, it took me 5 years, because there was maybe 2 cavers in all of the state of Maine. I was one of them. And I think the other one was probably about 15 when that started for him. But I had a lot of other people that knew me, and you know, I'd been in various things like that, and a lot of other friends from Massachusetts, New Jersey, Virginia, you know, helped build it up and everything. We had 1,000 people that came to it, and everybody said it was the best convention they had been to because we had lobsters there. That's why everybody wanted to go. We don't
Lobster
have
at the
any
Howdy
Yeah.
fish, but we
yeah.
do have
That's true.
lobsters. No, there are some, but you know, I mean, so many of them are just very small ones. Some of them are ice caves. There's a couple of just rock ones that are just 2 miles up from where I live and everything.
So
And it
you
was
have
good.
your own shop.
Oh yeah. Well, I have to work, as I said, 25 feet from my house to my studio, and it's just, I mean,
And your shop is right there.
well, yeah, one of them at least. No, I mean, yeah, I do have an opening there, but it's kind of seasonal, like in the winter, hardly anybody goes there, but now that the spring is coming, they're beginning to come, maybe 2 people per day, 5 people per week, 10 people a week or something. And that's when also the best shows in the state of Maine happen too. There's gonna be one on Mount Desert Island, which is just